680's Richard Southern joins us. Richard, Canada's economy is humming along nicely according to new numbers out today.
We got the GDP numbers in, and kind of a good surprise, Francis, in that the Canadian economy had its best monthly gain in 2 years. It grew 0.5%, the economy, over May, and 2.6% on a year-over-year basis. So some pretty good numbers compared to what we've seen lately. In the month of June, the economy led by mining and oil and gas production, and this stronger than expected growth, it points towards another interest rate hike by the Bank of Canada. We've already had 2 of those this year. Most economists, though, don't think the bank will hike at its next meeting in September, but do think we'll see another interest rate increase before year's end. We saw the loonie tracking a little bit higher as a result today, Francis.
Well, Facebook says it has detected attempts to interfere with upcoming elections in the U.S.
Yeah, this is a big worry and something Facebook is really trying to crack down on now. The social media network says it's identified a coordinated effort to use its network to influence American politics ahead of the midterm elections, which happened in the States in November. It said it's banned 32 pages and accounts that were engaged in this inauthentic behavior and that had organized some real-world events. Now, Facebook said it doesn't yet know who's behind this, but the persons responsible spent $11,000 on ads and went to lengths to obscure their identities. Facebook stock got beaten up last week. It was up slightly today, but this a big concern for the company. Very bad press, very bad news for Facebook. They're trying to crack down on it, Francis.
Well, many young people are regularly tapping into mom and dad's bank accounts, and you have an incredible story, though, about how 2 parents wanted to help their son make what could be the best investment ever. Yeah,
it ended up working out really well for mom and dad. So mom and dad were Jackie and Mike Bezos, and they invested $245,000 of their hard-earned dollars in a little tiny company their son started called Amazon. This was back in 1995. Now, their son, he warned them, Francis. He said, listen, I actually have a quote. He said in 1995, I want you to know how risky this is, Mom and Dad. I want to come home at Thanksgiving, and I don't want you to be mad at me. But you know what? They went ahead, helped him out. Now that stake worth $30 billion.
Geez.
That's a 12 million % return. Of course, we've seen many stock splits. They own 16 million shares, 3.4% of the company. They're believed, his parents, Francis, to be ranked among the 30 richest people in the world. So mom and dad trying to help out their son really worked out quite nicely.
Worked out really well.
Yeah.
So the business travel industry is quickly changing. A new report reveals what expenses workers are filing while they're on the road.
Yeah, this is fascinating, and I think the biggest takeaway is how they're getting around in a vehicle. It is Uber and Lyft accounting for 93% of car travel expenses now. Taxis making up just 7%, Francis. Business travelers as well starting to stay in Airbnbs, 20% checking into that. And we can see the most popular destinations for work Airbnbs: London, Paris, LA, New York, California, South Bay, and Toronto. Number 6. So that's a problem for the hotel industry, right? People are ditching hotels now for Airbnbs when you're on the road for work. As well, not dining out at restaurants so much. They're expensing Uber Eats and Grubhub receipts. We're seeing as well employees spend money on Starbucks, with the average receipt expensed from that company totaling $13.21. So the changing habits of the business traveler.
Wow. So is this the future for buying clothes? And hopefully it's not, because there's a vending machine out there selling vests, and they can't keep up with business.
This is how I buy all my suits.
All your vests?
Al, this is exactly how I do it, right? So this is in San Francisco. It's by Uniqlo, a store which we have here in the Eaton Center. And they're selling vests. And this machine, you put in $50. They're $50 each. And it goes and it picks the color vest that you've inputted, and it drops it down, and it spits it out. And would you believe, Francis, this machine does $10,000 in business every month.
That's crazy.
Makes tons of money. The concept not new. Uniqlo rolling out all sorts of vending machines for clothing. It's how people want to maybe interact now. Not with people, more with their local vending machine.
And you know, if you're out and you just want to change your outfit, well, you just Apple Pay and buy a new vest.
You've stained your clothes, you just go buy a new shirt. Good to go.
So there's this woman suing Canada Dry ginger ale over what she claims is a lack of an ingredient.
Right, so this courtesy of the Buffalo News. Julie Fletcher, who lives in upstate New York, apparently she used to give her kids ginger ale if they had an upset stomach. You know, the belief that ginger root would help with that. Turns out, though, she finally looked at the ingredients, and there's no ginger on Canada. There's no ginger in Canada Dry ginger ale. So she's suing them. It's a federal lawsuit.
Ridiculous.
Company argues that the natural flavoring in the drink does kind of contain ginger, but she said these commercials really fooled her because there's people pulling ginger out of the ground. We've seen some interesting food lawsuits as of late. A lawsuit against Kellogg's because there's no fruit in Fruit Loops, and of course Subway Subs was sued over the size of their hoagies.
Okay, does this woman actually believe there's beer in root beer? Or orange in Orange Crush?
Those are the next suits we're going to see, I think.
All right. Can't buy that suit in a vending machine, can you? Thank you, Richard.